Rugby fans countrywide are more excited than ever about next year's World Cup, which will take place in Japan. Well, I'm joined in studio by Eoghan Corry, editor of Travel Extra.
Good morning, Marian.
Good morning to you.
Morning,
everybody. And it's lovely when you come into studio because you know it's going to be kind of cheerful, you know. It's good.
The rest of us are taking that personally. Yes. Do carry on.
The Rugby World Cup has been anything but cheerful for Ireland in the past, and that's probably what's driving a lot of this interest. For a country, for a game that's played by 10 or 11 countries, we've never made it past the quarterfinals. The fact we are now sitting in the top 2 in the world and beat the All Blacks has meant that a lot of people woke up last Monday morning and said we got to get ourselves to the next World Cup and see us actually getting beyond that and probably even getting to a final or maybe even winning it. The bad news is it's the other side of the world.
Sorry about that, folks.
It's in Japan. It's next September and October. It's going to be 6 weeks in duration. Just to cheer us all up, they've started us in Tokyo, brought us 1,000 kilometres down to the southwest of the country and 1,000 kilometres back again to play the quarter-final, semi-final and final that we all know we're going to qualify for. And that means it's going to be very expensive. Memories of Italia 90 and the credit union for the extensions that were never built.
And couches that were to be purchased for Christmas. Like it wasn't just extensions. We're talking serious money here?
Serious money. I mean, your land side around 2,500 for 10 days. And remember, this will probably come where people will go out for an initial burst of enthusiasm for the Scottish match and a couple of things, and then when we start winning, start phoning home to look for more money. The price, return flight to Japan would normally be around 750. You expect that to double around 1,500 around that time of the year. The tickets are coming in over €100 each for our matches. The tickets have all been sold, by the way. The ballot is over. January 19th there's a sort of a repechage for people who haven't been in, but there are 3 travel tour operators who have access to packages, access to tickets. They are Steen Travel and Killester Travel, well known to Munster fans, and Club Travel, who are the official agents for the rugby union. And there's a wonderful group run by an Irish woman called Slattery, called Unique Japan Tours, who look after people in Japan. Why did Darina? She was a student who went off on a placement in Japan, learned Japanese, ended up in the travel business. But what motivated her was she saw all these Irish soccer fans arriving in 2002, promptly got lost, and some of them, it took them 6 months to get back to Ireland.
Convenient. Round figures, you're talking about 10 grand.
4.5, and then if you're going to be staying out for the whole lot, that's what you're looking at. You're running into 5 figures.
A lot of money.
Hotels are expensive, transport, it's an expensive country. It's also a country that is very difficult to manage. The Japanese, they have 3 alphabets, the train system, all of those sort of things, something small.
I thought the train system was supposed to be unbelievably wonderful.
Wonderfully efficient. I mean, this is, you have to see this to believe it. The queues for the carriages where you know exactly what door you're going to get. They go round in sort of at a right angle. So you've got all these queues at right angles and everybody standing in line and nobody breaking the queue. It's an insanely polite country. The person on the train who was bringing in the coffee and the sandwiches turned around and bowed at us as she went on to the next carriage. But to get onto that train, you need to navigate the ticket selling machine, and it's all in Japanese with the animes, that the cartoons, the Japanese cartoon characters. These are all around. That's the representation of the human face that you meet. And trying to actually buy the ticket would probably take you longer than the 1,000 kilometre journey.
So you missed the match.
But you say it's a fabulous country.
Absolutely fabulous. The reason it's fabulous, we're living in an increasingly homogenised world.
Yeah.
This was obviously isolated for hundreds of years, and when they let the Western thing in the last couple of decades, they let it in on their own terms. They have their own taste in food. Nothing bears no resemblance to the Japanese food that you get in Western. You've got terrific customs, and as I say, there's immense politeness. It really is a reminder reminder of how the rest of the world should be.
Should live.
And there's nothing as delicious as the bento box you buy in the station and get onto the train and eat it there with your rice. And even, can you imagine the Irish rugby fans trying to manage chopsticks?
That's interesting what Ona said about it being like no place on earth, and I haven't been there, but I have a colleague who works with me who was at the World Cup finals, and she said she'd love to go again, and she's travelled a lot of the world, and she was saying she's been to lots of countries but not remarkably so different at the end of the day. But she said Japan was the standout country for her in her lifetime of travel in terms of that radical difference.
One of the hotels we stayed in, you left your shoes in the lobby. And the concierge didn't actually take a ticket for the shoes. He had your shoes ready as you came down, but you spent your entire hotel stay going around in bare feet. And all of the stuff that's parodied, we're all very familiar with Japanese culture. It's all genuine when you hit it there. You know, we see it in the movies and you sort of say, well, this must be kitsched up a bit.
Yeah.
No, it's there. And
Right.
it really is fantastic. And the
What's your favourite city there?
I loved Kobe, and Kobe obviously is an international name because of the beef.
Yeah.
And they do celebrate the beef, and everywhere you go, there is this. You know, you go into the restaurant, and he actually takes out the menu and gives you not just the picture of the beast to the heifer, but also his lineage going back to, you know, it's like the royal family or something like that. They'll say, oh yeah, but it's like
The dam, yeah.
It's like what you get in Punchestown, you know,
Yes.
the dam and the sire and the distaff side.
Yeah.
But it's a place that celebrates, Japan in general is a place that celebrates food. We also ate the famous puffer fish, the Fuju puffer fish, and nobody actually dies from eating these in restaurants. There's a legend. There's a legend that two or three people do it every year, but every single Irish rugby fan is going to be rushing in to do it just to say that they did it. That's the sort of experience that it offers. Very, very special, but going to be very expensive. And the really interesting thing is that the level of interest is now something like 3 times what it was in advance of the last World Cup, which was in Wales and England. But that's reported by the travel agents. A lot of independent people tried to do Wales and England together.
Of course, yeah.
And of course, that was a huge disappointment. We went out in the quarter-final and we had Argentina playing in the semi-final that we should have been, and a large group of Irish fans
hard.
who'd already bought their tickets singing the Fields of Athenry throughout the second half. It was a sight to behold. I think we'll do better this time.
Right. Well, I don't presume there will be an extraordinary number of people going to it.
Estimates between 2,500 and 10,000. I would say 4,500 will be going out there. It's going to impact on spending in other areas in life. Because it's going to be so expensive, there will probably be familial discord the length and breadth of the country, and there will be guys squirreling away money that they're not going to admit to. But I do think that what will happen is there will be a small enough 2,500, 3,000 out for the first match against Scotland. That's September 22nd. By the time the quarter-final comes, October the 20th, there might be a win
Money
behind
will
it.
come out at the back of the couch.
Finnair through Helsinki have put on extra flights already for the Irish fans, and I think what we might see is in that last few weeks, October the 20th to November the 2nd, a big rush of people looking for tickets which are virtually unattainable. But we have a great reputation as a nation
Of finding them.
and getting them when we're not supposed to.
Yeah, which is very good. Listen, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
A caller was on to say, Marian, take it from one who was in Japan nearly 3 years ago. 4 of us, females, managed to spend an amazing holiday in Japan. Trains, accommodation, etc., etc. was fantastic. We found it easy to get around, and the Japanese were so helpful. An amazing place. So you can all start saving.
We're talking
now.
about guys here now, so.
Well, Owen, if you've any spare packages, let us know, right?
Okay, listen, thanks very much indeed for that, Owen, and thanks to everybody for their contribution today.